You're listening to today's inspirational message on the Proverbs with Kurt Bjorklund.
Proverbs 8 takes us on a journey again of the blessings of wisdom, telling us that there's something to learn, there's something to hate, and today we're going to see that there's something to admire. Here's where we see this, verse 17. I love those who love me, and those who seek me diligently find me. This is wisdom talking. And wisdom says, I love those who love me. So what does it mean to love wisdom? Well, in a sense, love is certainly a devotion to, but it's also admiring something. It's appreciating something. It's seeing the beauty of something. And so often what happens is we see wisdom as a commodity, something that we possess or don't possess. And most people believe that they possess wisdom. In fact, most people believe that they possess uncanny wisdom, that they're wiser than anybody else. But what Proverbs does is it says that the wisest of people realize that they need an outside source of wisdom. And when they come to love wisdom, that they will actually start to become wise. Verse 22 and following paint this picture of wisdom before the beginning of the world. And again, proportionately in Proverbs, this almost seems like too long of a section for what this is. But this is part of the benefit of working through this slowly, is it causes us to stop and say, why does the writer of Proverbs take 9 verses here to talk about the pre-existence of wisdom, that it was part of the pre-existence of the world. Listen to this. The Lord possessed me at the beginning of his work and first of his acts of old. Ages ago I was set up at the beginning of the earth. When there was no depths, I was brought forth. When there were no springs abounding with water, before the mountains had shaped, before the hills I was brought forth, before he had made the earth with its fields, or the first of the dust of the world. When he established the heavens, I was there. When he drew the circle on the face of the deep, when he made the firm in the skies, when he established the fountains of the deep, when he assigned to the sea its limits so that the waters might not transgress his command, when he marked out the foundation of the earth, then I was beside him like a master workman. I was daily his delight, rejoicing before him always, rejoicing in his inhabited world and delighting in the children of men. Now I read this because the admiring of wisdom here is partly what God does, because it says, I was daily his delight. I love that description. Do you admire the timelessness of wisdom? And the divine origin of God's wisdom, and the fact that God himself delights in wisdom? You see, if you and I think that we get our wisdom from different sources or just from our own internal sense, we don't actually love wisdom. What we love is our own sense of being right. But when you understand that wisdom is pre-existent, that it's existed outside of the time-space continuum, and that God has seen fit to have it written down and distributed to you. So this wisdom is sourced from God. It's timeless, it's eternal, and it is God's delight. Why wouldn't you and I choose to love wisdom? And yet so often what I want is to prove myself right. I've said this in messages before, but if somebody in your life tells you that you always have to be right, that is not a compliment. What that is somebody saying you are always trying to prove your own rightness, and you're not humble enough to admit that somebody else has an insight that you need. And there's probably nowhere that this is more important than coming to Scripture and saying, especially the Proverbs, I need wisdom because it has outlasted me. It started before me. It will outlast me. Its source is above me, and God himself has delighted in it. Why would I not admire this and seek it with everything in me? And yet so often, that is not the choice that I make. And so today I want to choose to seek the wisdom and admire the wisdom of God.
Thanks for joining us here today. There's a lot of great content to explore on Orchard Hill Plus and on the Orchard Hill main feed from the weekend. Have a great day.